Hey guys, so floors 51 through 60 of the Illusory Tower are finally out, and these are a lot harder than the previous ones, but they're still clearable without using the Gojo. So I'm going to showcase clears for all of these, most of the time just burst teams. I'm not going to be doing any stall teams for the time being. So burst teams for all of these floors, and then once the Gojo comes out, I will re-clear all of these floors and showcase teams that use him instead, because he does activate a lot of other non-Gojo DPS units. And of course, everybody should be pulling on the Gojo. He is the closest thing you can get to a must pull in this game. He's much more universally useful than any other unit. Even Sukuna, the Gojo is much more useful universally. So yeah, prioritize him, make sure you pick him up, because he'll make your life a lot easier if your goal is to clear the hardest content. Floor 51 is pretty simple. You can use yellow Nanami here, or you can even use Zone Yuji when he comes out if you're pulling for him. You don't need Domain Megumi, but my strat does use him. So moving forward, most of my strats for the hard content will use either Domain Megumi or DE Gojo, because I'm assuming that people at the end game have at least one of them, or should have at least one of them, because if you don't have Domain Megumi, you should be pulling on DE Gojo. I hope you have enough, because we had many months to prepare for that. If you don't, let me know in the comments, and I will maybe try to find a way to make these work without using either of them. But yeah, moving forward, the Yaga, Nanami, Kaito, SR Momo comps, those kind of comps won't really work anymore because the content gets too difficult, and just with no debuffers, you're not going to be doing much damage. My strategy here is very simple. It uses Mahito to break the boss, because the boss has a huge damage reduction buff when it's not in break. And the backup slot here doesn't matter. You can use Momo, you can use Gakuganji, you can use SSR Momo, you can use Blue Gato even. Anything you want. I'm not even going to bring it because I don't need it, but if you do need it, you can bring one in here. And then of course you don't need this recollection on Yaga. You can bring whatever you want. Death by Wasp, Skies Connected, any damage boosting one works fine here. Okay, so the only RNG for this strat is on turn 1. So on turn 1, we need our Gojo to hit his taunt. If he doesn't, then just reset. Nice. The reason we want Gojo to hit his taunt is because we want to save both of these stacks of Mahito's taunt here, and also we want to make sure the cooldown starts immediately so that we can reuse it later to reduce RNG later on in the fight. So on turn 2, the boss doesn't attack, so we don't really need to worry about that. So we're just going to skill 1. We're going to use this again to get more ult gauge on him. Okay, so now we're going to be consuming one of our Mahito's taunt stacks. And then we're going to start Pride stacking on Teen Gojo. So Teen Gojo Pride stacking, he gets to ult with full buffs on turn 9. So that's how we're going to kind of line up the rest of our buffs as well. Now we're going to start buffing, and we're going to reactivate this recollection, because we need Mahito to tank both of these hits that the boss does on turn 5. Exactly like that. We're not going to ult yet. So the ordering of our units matters here, because the whole point is that we are cancelling Mahito's domain with Domain Megumi's domain. That only works if they combo ult together. So normally Domain Megumi can't cancel anyone else's domain because his domain is incomplete, but for some reason when you co-op ult them, his domain does cancel it as long as he goes second. So that's what we're going for here. Now we're gonna activate this. And then we're going to use his skill 3 here. The boss has around 6 million HP, and you'll see that I do way more than that, so there's no need to have an A2 Teen Gojo. Even A0 works perfectly fine with this strat. So the boss is like 6 million HP right now, and you'll see that this hits for way over that. It's for around 13 million damage, so yeah, A0 Teen Gojo will be perfectly fine. Okay, I hope this was helpful. See you in the next one.